Welcome, I am Bruce Frantzis. Today I want to explain to you what is in the intermediate and advanced training of this training circle. So what are cavities? And I'm not talking about the cavities you go to the dentist for. What cavities are these places that are located in strategic areas of your body. For example, the throat notch, in here just below your heart, your armpits, your midriff, your quad, which control the major energetic flows in your body. It's like they're not the tiny tributaries, the streams. They're actually the giant lakes and rivers that push the energy out into all the smaller places. So they're very, very important. They're like the major power centers in the body. And why do cavities matter? Well, in this one sense. Let's say if we talked about opening and closing the joints. Well, let's say they could produce 10 units of power to cause the joints to open and close. You get the cavities really going, and what's going to happen is that the opening and closing of the joints are going to start producing 15 or 20 or more degrees of power running through them. So it upgrades, it jacks up, it supercharges, whatever term you want to use, everything else in your body. This is equally true if you're walking around, going to the toilet, or if you're doing Tai Chi or Bagua or Taoist yoga or any other Taoist practice. And what I have found is that having taught throughout the United States and Europe for more than 40 years, virtually nobody knows what they are. And those are including the people who study with quote unquote the big masters, which I find very, very strange. Because when I was in China, they were taught to me almost from the beginning. So it's like, you don't have to be with a teacher or go to school for 30 years to start learning, let's just say, long division. There's really no need for it. I mean, you really could have got that done the first year or two. But you have to know what it is. You have to know how it works, what to do with it to benefit for all those years are going to follow after it. So now, the biggest in one sense, the biggest cavity of the body, or the most important cavity of the body, has two major functions. It's called the lower dantian. Now, the lower dantian is the energetic center of your body, that when it opens and closes, it floods every energy channel in your body. And the energy of every channel in your body has to go back to the lower dantian to recharge itself after it's been used. But it's also very important physically, and the motion and the opening and closing of the lower dantian is very, very important for all the internal organs you have in your middle section. As well as the lower dantian is very important for the ability of your joints to be able to open and close. So at one level, you could say that the joints start the game, the cavities really get it going, and the lower dantian nails it down and gets it going to maximum power. So you have this area, which is right here. It has two points, both of which are in the program. One is called qigong, and that is where the acupuncture channels, everything I've said about the lower dantian, that happens from qigong. That's about 1/3 toward the center of your body, in the sense of that if you took a big spike, went right through your body, came out your perineum, that would be the middle, but it isn't. It's slightly forward. The second one, which is much more important for spirituality, which is more powerful than qigong, is actually located right in the center of your body on your central channel. Because of this, the lower dantian is extremely important in terms of meditation things. Okay? If all you wanted was just physical, then you could just no need to go more than 1/3 in, which is what most Tai Chi masters do. But the better ones, as you start going in toward the middle one, it makes what happens in the one about 1/3 in get more and more and more power. It's that simple. So now, the nice thing about the lower dantian is that every channel in your body connects to your lower dantian. It's like the main switchboard. It goes all the way out to your fingertips, your head, the bottom of your feet, comes all the way in. But as energy runs through your body, it may or may not begin to weaken slightly. And what the lower dantian is like is a booster station that causes the energy in the channels to get stronger and everything else. And it also, consider something, all human beings in their normal everyday life, from one perspective, do one of two things. They're going out or they're letting what's coming in. anyway, right? You love somebody, your love goes out. Well, guess what? If you can't let it go back in, watch, you can't let it go out after a while. So this going out and going in is universal rhythm, and the lower dantian is responsible for that rhythm in so many ways happening inside your body. And it's absolutely critical because it does it in so many ways in terms of meditation. So that's why it's, a rather an important thing. Now, I mean, all I can do is that saying that right now I'm closing my lower dantian, absorbing energy into it. I'm releasing lower dantian out to my body. And you'll also notice that as I'm doing this, if you watch the rest of me from the past videos, see those cavities opening? See the joints opening? It's all coordinating. Each one is building upon the other. Each one is making the next step in the process get exponentially stronger. The opening and closing of the lower dantian. They usually just talk about, I should say, in most books and everything you read, they just talk about having your chi in your lower dantian. And that's true. And some people have heard that, so they just kind of imagine something getting in your dantian. But the opening and closing of the dantian is what you do after your chi can arrive at your lower dantian to maximize its strength. So it's done in everything that's done in Taoism, from meditation to Tai Chi to Bagua to Xingyi to Taoist yoga. It's used in qigong tuina for how you actually get energy to project out of your body and pull it, project energy into their body and then pull it back from their body. It has an immense number of things. But for example, if I would just take a little bit from, let's just say, I'll take the Wu style of Tai Chi because it's just going to be a little bit easier. Okay? So right now, I'm closing and the energy is flooding into my dantian. I'm opening, it's coming from my dantian to my fingertips. I'm pulling in, it's coming into my dantian. I'm opening up and it's going down to my lower dantian. I'm pulling it into my dantian. I'm pulling it out. I'm pulling it into my dantian. I'm pushing it out. I'm pulling it into my dantian. I'm pushing it out. And forget about what the movements are. You have a very basic thing. When you open, you normally stretch, and when you close, you normally have your hand come in, and your energy wants to follow from your hands and your feet and your head and every part of your body into your dantian and out. Anyway, this is one of the big things in Tai Chi. It's one of the big things in qigong. It's mentioned everywhere, so I think this is a rather important little program. Now, this is the first time that I've shown openings and closings in terms of the whole program that I teach. Tai Chi, Xingyi, Bagua, Taoist yoga, qigong tuina, and everything, Taoist meditation. I've never done this in one place at one time before. Whenever I teach an individual subject, I show how it's done in that subject, but I've never shown how it's done in all of them. And there are two values of this. First of all, it works for every individual subject for the people who study the types of qigong I do, or for that matter, the same principles are going to apply in virtually any other form of qigong. But as well as that, it's going to enable you to start seeing the forest for the trees. Rather than, this tree has, these things. Also start seeing the points that are common, because this is a basic principle of qigong, and it cuts across everything. And that's one reason why I think that teachers who teach people, you will find that this is going to be immensely helpful to you and immensely helpful to your students. In the third of these introductory videos, I'm going to be sharing more about openings and closings and how they're done inside of Taoist meditation, and just more about openings and closings in general in terms of meditation. So all I can say is that thank you very much for watching, and we're hoping to have this program out in the new year fairly shortly.